Alright, this is a really interesting story, and one I want to talk about because it can affect me. And this comes from usgamer.net. It's not a small site. And the title is Report, Nintendo of America Clamps Down on Review Copies Following Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga Leak. So let's just dive into this report and read what it says and see what exactly is going on. So it says, last month, a copy of Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga and Bowser's Minions remake for the 3DS leaked online several weeks ahead of its official release date. As a result, multiple sources who have agreed to speak under conditions of anonymity have come forward claiming Nintendo of America has changed its internal review process. Their goal is to clamp down on which outlets and which video influencers will receive advanced copies for reviews and video content, with video influencers and smaller outlets being hit hardest by the policy changes. On September 21st, a post on a subreddit for 3DS piracy announced that a version of Superstar Saga Remake leaked on the 4chan message board, with ISO sites and such having it, and pirates claiming that the version of the game is legitimate. In the following days, posts about the leaked copy began appearing on other subreddits and forums like GameFAQs, with warnings about potential spoilers, or worse, a ban from Nintendo services if pirates decided to play the game with Wi-Fi turned on. Well, while pirates enjoyed the leaked version of the new Mario and Luigi RPG weeks ahead of the official release, Nintendo of America quietly responded to the leak by tightening its review process. Multiple sources claimed that this was a deliberate response to the Mario and Luigi leak, with one anonymous source telling US Gamer, after the leak of Mario and Luigi done by an influencer, Nintendo of America flipped out and changed their review policy. Plenty of outlets and influencers are without Fire Emblem Warriors and Super Mario Odyssey, apparently. It will be sent out in tiers, but I'm not sure how they are set up. And Neil Ronigan from Nintendo World Report went on to say he's not sure when the Fire Emblem Warriors embargo is, but there will be no pre-launch review because they can't review what they don't have. And Nintendo World Report's a decently sized site. It's not like a world record-breaking IGN kind of traffic site, but it is one of the more popular Nintendo sites out there. And then it says, they noted the move from Nintendo of America feels drastic, considering, as they claim, Nintendo knows who did it, referring to the leaker. Nintendo downloaded the leaked ROM, checked the files, and found the 3DS serial attached. They say it's a shame that Nintendo has decided to punish more than just the people responsible. Another source who works with Nintendo as an influencer also reached out to US Gamer, saying that the review situation surrounding games like Fire Emblem Warriors and Super Mario Odyssey after the Mario and Luigi leak feel different from their previous interactions with the company. Normally review copies are out anywhere from 2 weeks out or within several days of release. I was expecting Mario Odyssey to be given for getting a review copy and being able to produce/prepare a bunch of content for launch day. Now it looks like we'll be starting on it when the public has access to it as well. They added that some colleagues of theirs haven't received anything either, and that a lot of people are not sure what to think or do in regards to the content for upcoming games. I know 100% Europe has had Super Mario Odyssey and Fire Emblem Warriors for days. I also know no North American outlet has Fire Emblem Warriors, and I'm pretty sure very few have gotten word on Odyssey, said a third source who produces content of Nintendo games. While the critics on Twitter who are teasing their Fire Emblem Warriors reviews for Nintendo Switch primarily work for outlets based in the UK, one reviewer has said that their review of the game will appear on GameSpot in the next several days, suggesting that one established outlet hasn't been affected by the policy change. However, at least one major outlet has said that they have yet to receive either Mario Odyssey or Fire Emblem Warriors. The hushed rumors of Nintendo's changed review policies have several video influencers and smaller review outlets worried as the holiday season approaches, as much of their coverage will be dedicated to Nintendo big releases like Super Mario Odyssey. Some have expressed frustration that they are paying for the consequences of the mistake of a lone or small group of individuals. This could also explain why talk about Fire Emblem Warriors has been unusually quiet. Even as the game is set to release this week on October 20th as one of the bigger Nintendo Switch and 3DS titles for Nintendo's 2017 holiday season, this feels highly peculiar. Also, it should be noted that according to these sources, this is strictly a change in policy for Nintendo of America. Nintendo of Europe appears to be working under similar review processes as before. So, the reason that I went through all this and talked about it is because this affects me. I have gotten review copies of games from Nintendo before. Now, I have yet to get a review copy of a game from Nintendo while running Nintendo Prime. But when I ran Zelda Informer for 8 years, we had gotten several review copies from Nintendo. I think one of the very first review copies we ever got was Ocarina of Time 3D, but I think we also, if I go way back, I think we got a copy of Spirit Tracks, although we only got it like a day before the game came out. Ocarina of Time 3D we actually got like 3 weeks before it came out, which is really strange because it was actually coming on the tail end of E3, and there was just a lot of work for us to do, so that was fun. We never got a review copy for Majora's Mask, but we did get a review copy for Skyward Sword. We did not get a review copy for Breath of the Wild. I was still at Zelda Informer when Breath of the Wild came out, and there was no review copy given then. But we've gotten review copies, or at least I've gotten review copies. And Zelda Informer is a relatively small site. Well, it serves, 1 million to 2 million people per year. That's still really small. There are websites that serve like 1 to 2 million people per day. IGN's one of them. So generally it's a small outlet, and we never leaked anything. Leaking is a massive breaking of the NDA. And what's really weird about Nintendo of America's policy change, is that 3DS games in particular have a reputation of getting leaked before the game releases. The fact that this is happening now after this particular game, when last year Pokémon Sun and Moon also leaked. I think it was actually Pokemon Moon that leaked specifically. I'm not sure if Sun ever did. That why suddenly now the policy is changing when they've had bigger games in this leak in the past is beyond me. And what's really frustrating is they know who did it. They know which influencer, which YouTuber basically did this. And they could just go after that person because what that person did is illegal. Now, okay, the full disclosure here, I've applied to become part of Nintendo's affiliate program. And when you become part of that program, you essentially gain access to review copies of games. That's really the primary reason you join, is that Nintendo will start sending you out games. You might have to still make a request, but they essentially put you in a list of people, and you get your game when you get your game. Now, when I worked at Zelda Informer, it was kind of the same process, except you didn't apply to become part of a program. You would just contact Nintendo, who would ship you off to their PR company at Golden Harris, and then you would get a contact with Golden Harris. You would request the game. You would never be guaranteed to get the game, and they were even doing waves of reviews back then. Like, obviously, when we got our copy of Spirit Tracks a day before the game came out, we were put in a group that was like one of the last groups to get the review copy. Whereas for things like Ocarina of Time 3DS, we were one of the first outlets. So we were in the first wave of outlets to get that game. Skyward Sword, it's actually funny. They sent Skyward Sword out, and it never arrived, right? So after contacting Nintendo, like they literally airmailed one out, and it arrived the next day. Something happened. I don't know if someone in the mail company stole the copy of the game of Skyward Sword. I don't know. But whatever. We ended up getting it 2 weeks beforehand, which ended up being within the first wave. So I've been in all the various ways. And then there was Breath of the Wild, where we just never got a copy for Wii U or 3DS. So now we have to sit back and think about how this impacts people. Now, since I've never gotten a review copy of a game for Nintendo Prime from Nintendo, now I had some indie developers contact me, and there might be a chance we get some early copies of indie games in the future, but Nintendo has never hasn't approved us to be in the program yet, so we'll see if that's even going to be a thing for us. And Nintendo has never sent us a copy, so it doesn't affect our coverage today, but this affects a lot of people, and I'm not really sure what to think. It'd be different if Nintendo didn't know who did this. If they didn't know who did this, and they have to make a blanket change, especially for video influencers. But this is a problem in the industry. This is why when Nintendo knows who did it, when you get your copy of the game, there's like an NDA agreement that you have to even sign. When you sign up for this program to get the games, you make these agreements that when you get the early game, you can't leak it, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's a whole bunch of restrictions. If you break those restrictions, it's punishable by law. So usually if you break the restriction on like showing too much footage, like say you decide to show the end of the game before the game releases, Nintendo's not going to sue you, but they're going to kick you out of the program and you'll never get a copy of the game again. But if you leak a game, Nintendo has every right to come after you hard, and that's really what they should be doing, and maybe they are. Maybe there is a lawsuit that Nintendo has going against the person because the name of whoever leaked it is not out there. Nintendo's the only one who knows because the ID of the game is tied to that 3DS. But it's just extremely frustrating right now to know as a video influencer, as a small video influencer, right? I would be considered a small video influencer. There are people in this program that have smaller channels than me. I know people that have 1,000 subs that are in the video influencer program that were getting access to games that are probably going to lose their access entirely. They probably won't even get games anymore. And me, as a new person trying to get into it, also with, a bigger channel than 1,000 subs, but still a relatively small channel, chances are I'm never going to get approved, even though I personally have a history of getting review games and never having an issue having review games get leaked, or even over covering a game, right? I've never had it where we've exposed too much of a game. Nintendo is probably not going to approve of me, or if they do and get me in the program, chances are the only games that I will get are ones that Nintendo doesn't care a whole lot about. Like if Metroid Samus Returns had leaked, they probably don't care so much because it's just a remake, right? So it's very disturbing. This is the week Fire Emblem Warriors comes out, and I have to admit, I actually forgot Fire Emblem Warriors was coming out until a person who works at our website at NintendoPrime.net, our only other writer at the website, wrote up games releasing this week. He does this post like every week now since we came back, where every Sunday or Monday we launch a post about here's the games that are coming out this week. If you guys remember, we actually used to do a video series for it, but we've moved it into an article form as I feel like it's more informative. You can see all the trailers, and it doesn't eat as much into my schedule. So we get that post out, and as I was going through, because I manually approve every post that appears on NintendoPrime.net, I saw, wait, Fire Emblem Warriors? That's coming out this week? I forgot about it because no one's been doing, there's been very little coverage of this game from YouTubers. And that's because most of them don't have the game. And that sucks. And this is really going to hurt, this hurts everyone. It also hurts Nintendo's exposure for games. The whole reason that they've been willing to work with video influencers, which, by the way, being accepted in that program does not whitelist you. They can still claim all your videos, so it doesn't fix that problem. But it at least allowed Nintendo to promote or allow certain video influencers to promote their games rather easily, with really the benefits of the YouTubers. You have early access games. The benefits of Nintendo is there's additional coverage. This is just disturbing to me. And this is why whenever you see game leaks, and I see this stuff all the time, I see people message me, hey, have you heard about this game leak? Have you heard about this? All I do is shake my head. Because I knew eventually these game leaks were going to lead to Nintendo deciding, you know what, people can't have the game early anymore. And I was hoping that that wouldn't happen in my time as a YouTuber, but it has. And all I have to say is I'm sorry that we can't provide the coverage in the future, because chances are we probably would have got approved for this program before this went down. So we're probably not going to get approved now, or if we are, we're not going to get games. So I want to apologize on behalf of all the YouTubers out there that someone had to ruin it for everybody else. Because now, chances are, we need to be as big as Game Explain before we'll get access to early games anymore. That just sucks. Or I guess I can go move to the UK, since the Nintendo UK hasn't changed their policies, but anyways, folks, I'm Nathaniel Rufflejazz from Nintendo Prime. Let me know what you think about this whole leaked business and early access to games. And do you guys even care? I mean, obviously, some people say, oh, good, all these YouTubers don't deserve to have copies of the game early. But at the same time, it's about promotion, right? Nintendo's benefit of it is they get their game out there in front of audiences that they might not be reaching with their own social media channels, including a bunch of people here. There's news we report on here from like Nintendo Directs and everything that you could just go to Nintendo and get, but some people don't because the videos are like a half hour long and you kind of get lost in the mix. Whatever. Like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and you know what, folks? I'll just catch you in the next one.